Did you know that over 2.5 billion people around the world are gaming on a regular basis? And 30% of those people report that they also watch porn on a regular basis too. So the question is, which one is worse for you? We're going to dive into that today, but we're also going to think about how do you know if you're addicted to gaming or porn? We know from science that both of them are highly addictive, but how do you know? We're going to break it down. So, first, let's think about gaming. Now, gaming is classified as an internet addiction disorder in the DSM 5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Challenges. We know it is now an internet addiction disorder. And along with it comes some classifications. I'm going to read them off to you so that you can think about this. Is that it's considered a steady and repetitive use of the internet to play games, frequently with different gamers, which leads to clinically significant distress and psychological changes. And it's demonstrated by a range of criteria that we're going to go over in just a minute. So, my point right now is gaming is classified as an addiction. It's when you're on the internet, you're gaming a lot with other people, and it's leading to distress in your life. So the point is, there's a fine line between leisure for pleasure and addiction for compulsion. So we're going to keep thinking about this. We know that there's 9 major signs that you might be addicted to gaming. I'm going to share them with you now. So one is that you need to spend more and more time playing video games, and you need to play them more and at a higher level to get the same level of enjoyment. That's because of something called habituation. Your brain basically builds tolerance, and you need more of it to feel just as good. It might lead to poor performance or productivity at school, at work, in your household responsibilities. It might lead to withdrawal symptoms when you're no longer gaming, or if you're told you have to come out of the screen. So it can lead to defensiveness, it can lead to anxiety, it can lead to anger, and it can lead to depression. So we know, and I have a whole host of my own anecdotal stories, that when you're told to stop gaming, you don't like it. And it's because your brain needs it. If you've tried to give up gaming or to reduce it unsuccessfully, that can be another sign. Another sign is you're hiding it, or you're lying about the amount of time that you're gaming from people in your life. So you want to conceal how much you're gaming because you know you're doing it more so you can feel good. Another is reduction in personal hygiene. So, an interesting symptom or sign of gaming is that self care goes out the window. People will game for 10, 12, 15 hours at a time. They don't eat, they don't wash, they hardly go to the bathroom. It's staying in the zone in the game and not necessarily taking care of any business in real life. We know another sign is that it's used as escape from stressful situations, or to use gaming as mood regulation. Now, I will give you a spoiler alert. Many of these signs and symptoms are in the classifications for porn addiction too. They show up a little bit differently though. So you're using gaming to offset mood regulation. Now, some interesting facts about people who are considered to be addicted to gaming, which might be a sign, but they're kind of facts, is that people who have a gaming addiction tend to have social challenges in the world and emotional disruptions or dysregulations in the world also. So they might be shy, they might not have a lot of friends. What happens in the game is confidence is built in the game as they take on an avatar. So many times, people who are socially awkward in the world and can't regulate their emotions in the world become much more confident in the game. And this is part of the reward for gamers, is in that avatar, and achievement in the game is different than achievement in the world. So they're able to do well in the game and to feel better about it. Many times, people who are addicted to gaming, all their friends are gamers too. And another sign or interesting fact is that they used to have a more balanced and rounded out life, doing activities in the world, baseball, basketball, engaging in the world. And now everything's become about the game, and they're only interacting with people in the game. So it's neglecting real life experiences to just stay in that unreality or that fantasy world where they feel really confident and really great about themselves because they don't feel confident and great about themselves in the world. Now, if you've heard me talk, I have a gamer as a son. I have five plus my bonus child, who he definitely is considered a gamer too. We're going to go two gamers right now, but I'm going to talk about my one son, where when he was younger, he started to get into this. And honestly, there's still times when he could border on gaming addiction because he wants to be in the game all the time. And that's where he feels the best. But when he was young, I made him regulate that. And stay with me because I'm going to give you some suggestions in your brain hack today. How do you regulate this? How do you moderate it if you can? So the idea was he always wanted to be in the game, but I made him come out of the game and go into the world to do activities that he enjoys. I'll tell you about it at the end. And now he's almost 18 years old and he does this himself for the most part. So the idea is I hear him, he goes into his game. I can hear him all confident doing his thing in his game. Then it's quiet. And I'm like, where did he go? And he's out in the world with his friends. He's playing those activities that he used to love. He's doing it on his own. So I'll tell you more about him as we get to the end of this episode. But there's low self esteem and a forlorn feeling. This is what the scientific study shows in people who love to be in the game. They feel forlorn or they don't have social belonging in the world. Now, my point about the game is it's an unreality, it's fantasy. And yeah, it feels good, but that's not real life. I want you and I want everybody in your world to feel confident and feel like they belong socially and to feel awesome in your real life. So it's fun to be in the game, but when it becomes an addiction, then it's time to get back into real life. Okay, those are your signs and symptoms. So I want you to know gaming is a super normal stimulus. It is going to give your brain more dopamine than you can get in the world from those real life activities. Playing basketball with your friends, gaming with your friends. Gaming gives your brain more dopamine, the neurotransmitter of more motivation and pleasure. So if you stay in it too long, your brain becomes dependent on those high levels of dopamine from gaming. Very similar to what happens in porn. We're going to get there in a second. But can gaming be used as healthy mood regulation? So, after a long day, you want to come home, play some Elden Ring, you want to play Pixel Junk. Pixel Junk's great. It's short, it's fun, you can play with a friend, and you can use it for healthy mood regulation while you're hanging out and you're offsetting the stress of the day, or you're filling a part of your day that might be filled with boredom, which I would contend is actually just lack of overstimulation. But can gaming be used as healthy mood regulation? Yes, if you're able to game with moderation. That's the big but. Can you game with moderation? Or are you compelled? Do you feel that pull, that urge, or the craving back into the screen? Are you not able to reduce your amount of time? Are you hiding how much you're gaming from the people who love you that are concerned about you? Have you lost weight? Have you stopped going out? Have you stopped showering? If those are the things, you are not using it in moderation. But if you can use it in moderation, gaming can be a really fun way to offset the stress of the day. And my husband and I have often joked that he's really the first generation of gamers. He loves to game, but back in the day I'd be like, "Dude, you're losing it. I can see you're getting through your life to get back to your game." And now and also he'll go, I'm trying to get through my life to get back to my game. Time for a break. So the cool thing is all the people in my family, if they've learned to do that. And we joke that wouldn't it be funny if I became a gamer? I don't play games at all, but wouldn't it be fun? That's not true. I have kicked some booty in Tekken. I do play Pixel Junk. I've played Overcooked, which is really fun with my kids. And I am the reigning champion in a bunch of other games, but it's all hanging out with my peeps. Okay, let's dive into the signs and symptoms of porn addiction. I'm going to list them off and break them down for you a little bit. Number one, cravings and urges to watch porn, to get back into porn. So it's very similar with gaming. You feel the need to go back into the screen, But again, remember the content's different. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Withdrawal when you try to stop. So you try to stop, you become anxious, you have anxiety, you feel depressed, you feel lonely, you feel isolated, you feel a very strong need to get back into the screen. Hiding your porn use, just lying outright, and especially if your partner asks you if you are watching porn and you look that person directly in the eyes and say no. So there's hiding and lying, which can create shame, and it becomes a secret sexual life, which is different than hiding gaming. So right now, I'm going to tell you the signs and symptoms, but we're going to compare and contrast it a little bit also. We know that intimacy issues can be the fourth sign or symptom. So this makes it when you watch porn, and especially depending upon frequency, consistency, duration, intensity is a number one, especially consideration of variable. So, what you're watching in the screen can give you shame and make you feel guilty for watching it. So, then it can be very difficult to create intimacy, vulnerability in your real life relationships. I work with thousands of people who are addicted to porn. And a number one thing that they tell me is it affects the way that they interact with other people. It gives them social anxiety and it makes it difficult to build intimacy with friends and especially with their partner. At the core of that intimacy issue also might be SAD, sexual arousal dysfunction. This is one of the number one physical issues that people struggle with because of porn. And the scariest part is they have no idea that their sexual arousal dysfunction, which is erectile dysfunction and delayed ejaculation for the most part. It also can be premature ejaculation, but SAD, sexual arousal dysfunction, is a number one physical symptom of a porn addiction. So, again, I work with thousands of people who say, I've had a porn habit for a really long time. I never knew it was a problem. And then I started to experience erectile dysfunction. And if the porn habit keeps going, there's people who have complete erectile dysfunction even with porn. So I can see that dysfunction in a person's QEEG brain map. And I'm going to share that with you because I want you to know there's brain dysfunction at the core of gaming addiction and porn. And we're going to look at which one's worse. Let's finish our signs and symptoms. So, disengagement. So, disengagement, this is my word, but it's put on the idea that your work productivity, your relationships, your hobbies, and your well being all decline. So, we know this is very similar to the signs and symptoms from gaming. Productivity goes down, social relationships go down, and well being go down with gaming. But when it comes to porn, social relationships go down, but your primary relationship, your partner in crime, or what should be your partner in crime, your partner, your life partner, that relationship can be torn apart. And again, it goes back to intimacy, sexual arousal dysfunction, but also research shows that when porn's in the mix, relationship dissatisfaction increases, satisfaction goes down. You're actually less satisfied with your partner and with your sex life. So there's pseudoscience or fake news out there that says that if you watch porn, you're going to spice up your sex life. What the actual science shows is that it's the opposite. Relationship dissatisfaction and dissatisfaction with your partner increases. And what that does is it creates disengagement. So we know there's a stark increase in divorce and bad breakups when porn's in the mix. Now, it goes back to the secret sex life. If you're hiding a whole aspect of yourself, how can you possibly be partner in crime to your partner? So, it's supposed to be that your partner is the one person who walks through the world with you and supports you and helps you through all your junk. But if your partner doesn't know your junk, then you haven't actually opened up and become vulnerable with your partner, which means they can't be your PIC. I actually looked it up. Partner in crime is in the Urban Dictionary, and it says a person who loves you and will stay with you no matter your flaws. And, I wouldn't use the word flaw, I use the word wounds. Like, we're all wounded people, and the human condition's a challenging one, and we all have the different junk that we need to deal with. And it's just the flavor and the magnitude of our junk is different. So, let that person in on it. And if they don't walk through the world with you, it's because they don't have the emotional maturity to do so yet. So perhaps your partner will gain the emotional maturity with you. You gain the emotional maturity and intelligence to not need porn anymore, and your partner sees you, becomes vulnerable, supports you, and you get to walk through like Bonnie and Clyde, minus the violence. Okay, the seventh symptom is hypersexuality. Now, this is different than gaming. So, yes, you might think about getting back to the game when it comes to a gaming addiction, but this is what porn does to you. It colors your world through the filter of sex, hypersexuality. Now, people on the street become sexual objects to you, and there's an increase in lusting. You might find you are checking people out all the time. Their body parts become a dopamine hit for you. Remember, we're talking dopamine dependency here. Gaming brings your brain back, link the dopamine into the screen. In porn, your brain gets linked to sexuality and it creates hypersexuality, the filter of the world. And now you see a teenager walking down the street. And if you've been watching young women in porn, that person becomes a dopamine hit. Where if you weren't watching porn, that would be a teenager. The filter becomes different. I work with people who can't go out anymore because every woman that they see is colored through the filter of violent sexual acts. So there's people I work with that they have to unwire their brain from sexual violence to be able to look at people and not want to do those sexually violent acts on them. So hypersexuality becomes the filter of the way you walk through the world. You think about sex a lot or all the time. You feel the pull back to porn, but you also feel the pull in different directions. When there's tolerance building and escalation, you don't want to just play more games. Now you want to act out, and that can lead to other acting out behaviors with real live people, either on the internet or in the real world. I don't want to tell you what those things look like because I know the hijacker in you might want to know what those are so that you can move towards them because of this link. But just know hypersexuality is a major sign of porn addiction where, hyper gaming isn't necessarily the same. There's also excessive resources spent on explicit matter. Now, I put the word in resources because really what the classification for porn addiction or compulsive sexual behavior disorder, as it's called, it shows that time, money, and energy are put towards porn or sexuality. Those are your resources, your time, your money, or your energy. It means your life is being consumed by it and there's a compulsion back to it and you're spending your resources on it. You're less attracted to your partner, which I just told you. And number 10, you can't stop. Try stopping. If you want to know if you're addicted to porn, try stopping. You'll find out it's very difficult. So let's think about this connection between gaming and the signs and symptoms and porn. And I've already been kind of crossing them over for you. So both of them lead to a compulsion, both lead to urges and cravings, both lead to a breakdown in productivity, your relationships, and your well being. Now, porn leads to hypersexuality and it can color your sex map. Your sex map is your sexual arousal template. What your brain is linked to with dopamine becomes what you want to experience in your real life. And then what happens is you keep going after it for more and more dopamine. It's a dopamine dependency. So if it's a choice between gaming and porn, porn is worse for you. It damages your brain more because the dopamine levels are higher. There's both supernormal stimuli, but when we include sexuality, it's even more dopamine. And the way that it crosses over into your life is more disruptive. So, when we talk about porn or gaming, porn's worse. It is worse for your brain and it's worse for your life. Now, if you're looking for help on this journey, I want you to know you can come out of the screen. You can rewire your brain back to healthy levels, and you certainly can get back on track with your productivity, your relationships, and your well being. If you want to see what the dysfunction in your brain looks like, please go over to drtrishleigh.com. You can check out what a QEEG brain map is. And if you want the resources, the techniques, the technology, and the strategies to break free from porn today, go check out Porn Free Brain Forever. It's a digital program that I offer. You can get started today. It's accessible, anonymous, and it's affordable, just like porn. But it's good for you. Okay, until next time, control your brain or it'll control you.